person. How are you, darling?
I am excellent. Did anybody have like a calm, cool, healthy weekend? No. Or was it just like debauchery left and right?
Too much beer.
Same. Asheville brings that out in you.
Did you go?
I've been there.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So what did you think?
Oh, I love Asheville.
I feel like a Johnny come lately.
It's the perfect. It's no. I lived in North Carolina for exactly 11 months. So
That's right.
yeah.
Yeah.
So and also the bartending thing. I want to talk to you about that because that's like the worst. When someone acts like that, like they're like, it's like you're like, no. Like I'm not your servant.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just serviced you.
Comes
and
behind the
also-
bar, like.
I mean, it's just so obnoxious, and you have to get to a point where you're like, oh, this is like, I don't give a fuck. You want to get weird, just get paid up front.
Yeah.
Yeah. The worst is the
yeah.
other way. Ugh.
Well, there's always the spitting in their cups option.
No.
That doesn't really serve that like doesn't help anyone, and then you feel. Like if you do that, then it could be done to you. I feel.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
without a doubt.
there's definitely like enter into a karma circle that is endless.
Yeah.
Hi guys.
Well,
What's
your residency continues. Blown
Well,
away.
I apologize.
When you were in Asheville, were you not blown away? It has got the most breweries.
Oh yeah.
Per capita of anywhere in America. One across the street from the other. One inside a mall. One inside. They're everywhere. It's the restaurants have their own breweries.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Well, I mean, I think that goes to show how easy it is to brew beer, right? Like, and how much like Bud Light really could just do that.
Yeah. They have resorts that have breweries within the resorts.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's insane.
And we drank them all, but it was a lot of fun. And welcome back.
Thank you.
So why was your weekend debaucherous?
It just, my ex was supposed to have our kids, and then I found out he was coming to get them, and so I planned a client dinner on Friday night, and I planned a client dinner on Saturday night, and then I also knew that Sunday I'd be able to relax. So I was like, I set up so many, I was like, we'll do a dinner and then drinks and then we'll have a table here. Like I kind of set it up. So I knew it was going to be a full weekend. And then on Thursday, I found out that he had to drop off the kids at 7 a.m. at my house. So I was like, oh no, I have these work obligations now. I can't cancel them. So it ended up being like both ends, you go out crazy on Friday night and then you have to deal with your kids all day on Saturday. And then you go out crazy on Saturday night and then you have to deal with your kids again on Sunday. And not that I don't love being with my children, but it's just one of the stories that we're hopefully going to talk about is it's so difficult to manage when you're doing your job, doing your socializing, but also being a responsible parent, which I find is dichotomous for me.
Yeah. Yes, that is what we call a fun and work spit roasting of a weekend.
Right.
You're just getting it from both ends.
Both ends.
And did daylight savings help or hurt the situation?
Well, it kind of helped because then last night our friends did an outdoor movie night at 4:00 because it was dark.
Yeah.
So we did the outdoor movie night. The movie ended.
I want creative friends like that.
Yeah. No, I know they're all A-type, so I'm just like that sounds great.
Those are the best guys.
Yeah. So we were done by 7:30. My daughter was exhausted because it was technically 8:30. She's my 4-year-old, and it was just we were able to get home, and they both went to bed by 8, which is unheard of. They usually go to bed around 9 because they're assholes. And I'm just kidding. But usually if they go to bed at 9, then I have no time to clean up. You're exhausted. So it was nice to get them to bed earlier, and then they both slept until 7.
The best.
So they slept for 12 hours.
All those.
So I think everybody had an exhausting weekend.
That's the trick.
There was something.
Get all energy out of it. Push it through.
Push it.
My brothers are never more happy than when my nieces are just running.
Oh, go.
Because they know what the future holds.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of sleep.
A lot.
And also I found with the brothers in the burbs, the movie nights and stuff like that, the activities, it's constant and great because the free time is so much more of value that you have to make the most of it.
Right.
Whereas I would waste a whole weekend on the couch. You cannot do that. Obviously, with the hours, you can't do it as a parent. But also, when you do have that, but you want to do something fun and interesting and creative, whereas I'm a boring.
Also, how do I become a client of yours? Dinner, drinks, all of that sounds really nice.
No, it's real. It's I do.
That's
I
a
think
healthy
I treat
plug
them
right
really well. I do
Yeah.
think I treat my clients really well. And
Yeah.
I sell a production service. So like I sell a media service,
Right.
which is not sex related at all.
there. Boo!
Some people
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
Amy.
yeah.
But
Well-
yeah.
I don't know what kind of media service.
We produce photo, video, and still shoots and for
She's already
luxury
posing.
brands. And I also have like a side
auditioning.
business. Yeah, I also have a side business.
Is that your camera face right there? I can't tell.
Is this the face of luxury? I
here's the
think
thing.
so.
Here's the thing. I will invite anybody. I had a friend come with me on Saturday night who would just help keep the vibe up.
good.
So if you can like bring it, like make things, keep it moving, because
Oh,
sometimes people
that's
are
hard though.
Just stills promoting it,
Yeah.
and actually being there and rolling her eyes.
like, I think that's a really big thing, and I think I used to be that friend that people would involve. They'd
Yeah,
be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, she'll be fun."
Yes.
And
Party pumpers.
Party
That's,
pumpers.
Douglas and I at a wedding.
Yeah. Oh.
When you need people on the
just need-
dance
you just need to,
floor,
like,
why
people
is
come
everyone
in.
sitting and eating their salad course?
Yeah.
Let's dance.
Yeah.
Wait, from what I remember, that was Douglas and you at your wedding.
Oh my God, yeah. I'm like, where's my husband? Oh, on the dance. Okay, I got to get on the dance floor. Yeah.
You look like the bare minimum dancing.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to pop out of my dress.
There's that too.
Yeah.
Say let them pop.
If you can't pop
That
your party.
those see now if you are can you start integrating letting them pop and then come out to client dinners with me?
You know what? You're right. If I can't let it pop on my wedding day, how can I let it pop with a stranger?
Hope you let it pop on your wedding day.
You know what? I have found that actually never happens. Nobody
I had
lets
sex
it
on
pop
my
out
wedding
of it.
night. I still got
Really?
divorced. Oh yeah,
I still that. Most of my friends they
doesn't
pass out.
fucking matter. I
pass out
wish you would have passed out. I was
Yeah.
exhausted.
Our first wedding, I was too drunk. Our second wedding, Douglas was way too drunk.
A lot of people take a minute between festivities too.
Yes, and also I think the other trend now is more and more people are not having the honeymoon right after the wedding.
Oh,
way after the fact.
I don't think that is a good idea.
Oh yeah, it makes total sense.
I think you should totally go on your honeymoon immediately.
Oh, really? Oh, I see it
No, I
the opposite.
don't think it's a good idea, Bill.
For me, it's going to be like a year plus that our honeymoon is happening.
We never had our honeymoon. We never had a honeymoon.
See, that's the thing, though. If you wait too long, I fear it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen. But that was I think that was like, let's not get into that.
My bit-
But let's not talk about the celebration aspect of our relationship. But I will say, I think everyone's so tired. You do need to sit on a beach for a week after your wedding.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, like you
need to
really
vacation.
do just need to get it. It's really, and I think if you don't do it immediately, if you don't celebrate your marriage, isolated with each other and just have that moment, it's kind of hard to chase it.
Yeah.
Well, coulda, woulda, shoulda for you.
Yeah.
Oh, look at you with your segues today. Do you hear your segues? Or did you read your own stories?
Oh yeah. Wait, I'm wondering
story?
if it's the one you were talking
Oh,
about.
the coulda, woulda. I have it. I have it.
Yeah.
Look how excited she is.
I get the coffee's
Joe
ready.
is excited, and she
Why
never is.
thoughts of your ex are stuck on loop in your brain, according to science. It
Science.
turns out the phenomena
Phenomena.
is this outlet insider.com. You need better editors.
I prefer outsider.
The phenomena has a name, coulda, woulda, shoulda syndrome, according to some
I
psychologists.
didn't even try to do that segue. I mean, I did.
Do you realize how good you are at this?
I'm a fucking
Can,
psych.
can we stop complimenting him?
Sorry, I know. I get stuck.
You don't need to party pump our show. But but your broken record thoughts.
I know.
Your broken record thoughts are perfectly normal after a breakup. In fact, our brain is wired to have them, especially if you had unfinished business. According to psychological science, the suffering is all to do with a phenomenon known as the Ziergarnik
don't try that
effect.
one.
That poor scientist.
What else was he gonna
who
do?
Researched it. But what's his first name? They
Yeah.
couldn't have called it the Frank effect
Dr.
or
John.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jason. This effect is the innate tendency to focus more on uncompleted tasks than completed ones. Is that why my brain goes at 1,000,000 miles an hour at all times? Because I never finish a goddamn thing. If a task is not complete, we are hardwired to keep it accessible. Brain signals are sent to instruct us to keep rehearsing the information in order to keep it as reachable as possible, according to studies. It's only once we complete the task that we can store it in our long-term memory bank. Yeah, it's called getting closure, right? After a breakup, that's what
Is there
everyone
such a
says
thing?
they want.
Yeah.
There's closure for
There's
a rela-
actually-
The only real closure is in death, I feel, as far as relationships are concerned.
Oh, God.
Either you're married till you die, or there's no closure
So,
for anyone.
in the case of a failed relationship, a way to kind of solve things or resolve them is to discuss regrets, desires, and hopes with a loved one or make plans for your life after the person. Experts say it's also important to give yourself a break. Time is the ultimate healer.
That's not true. Time doesn't do dick.
Do you experience the coulda, shoulda, wouldas? Do you try to stay away from that?
You know, I'm not a coulda, shoulda, woulda kind of gal. I think
about you.
I process a lot of things in hyperspeed. So like I work through them pretty quickly. When I start to like marinate, ruminate on something, I tend to get like an expert. Like I'll reach out to an expert and be like, am I crazy? What's going on here? That's what happens whenever you have like no trust in your own emotion.
Okay.
So you reach out to an expert and you're like, I want to get into the echo chamber of someone who's challenging me, not validating me, and make sure that that's just the way that my brain's always worked. And so I don't have the coulda, shoulda, wouldas. I did with one relationship from when I was really young, but I think it's just because the way I was operating was from a past system, a past relationship system. But once I was over that relationship system, I felt very guilty.
Past is rainbow-colored glasses.
I also feel like when you get out of a relationship, if you don't explore how you fucked up, that's how you
What if you
stay in the well, we could have, should have. Because if
What if you're perfect?
I mean,
That's an impasse.
I'm sure you are, and I'm sure I am. But there is an option
Yeah.
for
Then
someone.
there's people like Bill.
And there's
Yeah, I
people
get
like
it.
Bill. No, but I think that this is more of a man thing.
You think the men
I agree.
I
experience
think men ruminate
what
on
is-
relationships more than women
I
do.
totally. I think women.
Because-
I've always found women are better at breakups.
Yeah.
Guys are like turning up fucking puddles.
Because we are doing all of the emotional heavy lifting.
Yeah,
We're doing everything and it exhausts
real
us.
time, we've been doing it,
And so
yes.
whenever we're done doing that heavy lifting, it's a relief.
Yeah.
But for men, I think they go like, what just happened? You know, like if they're not able to keep that emotional intelligence
Yeah.
intact in a relationship. And you guys, I can talk about dick size instead if that's more interesting. But
But sometimes
how
that's part
that's
of a
something-
breakup.
You
How
just-
big do you think Grimace is?
the woulda, shoulda, coulda is genetic. You can't help it, okay?
Isn't it more the motion of the grimace rather than the size? I've read. By the way, if grimace is just all balls,
Oh yeah,
I think he's just upside down
And
testicles.
so, like, he is one of the most virile lovers ever because of those balls. I talked to my children about Grimace the other day, and they didn't know what I was talking about, and I wasn't sure if I should go further or back off of it.
Yeah.
Like, should I introduce a Grimace, or like, are they, should they not know about like an amorphous purple creature?
Ronald's gone, so I'm sure Grimace is on his way out too.
I just think that, yeah.
Blows my mind.
Yeah.
All these people with their
What does he
clownness.
represent?
Speaking of exes, and I've said this on the show before, I think I have. One of the best pieces of advice I have received after a breakup and the idea of potentially missing an ex was asking yourself the question, do I miss that person or do I miss who I was at that point in my life?
Oh, that's a really good.
Do I miss who I was in that relationship?
Yeah.
And I think that's really important to remember because I think it's really easy to, probably for a lot of young adults, they might look back on a college relationship and think, oh man, did I let that person go? Was that
Was
the
that
right?
the one?
But it's like, no, you were in college. You probably loved that experience. It was a new sense of
Right.
freedom, the first real adult relationship. There was something really empowering about that. And so you're probably just missing that feeling more than that person.
I've often found, too, that a good thing to do is do so much drugs and so much drinking that the brain damage is such that you don't even remember who they are, much less their name. It's kind of like they're gone from existence. You kids out there, even if you're under 21, write that down. That is what we call a PSA.
I think
Morning.
That's an opinion.
But like, it's got to have the brain damage. You can't just be like, oh, I'm really drunk. I've done a lot of drugs. You have to be like, you got to get retarded.
Bill.
And then all the bad feelings go away.
These are bad pieces of advice.
What?
This is the way that people hurt themselves.
What's your name again?
Heal themselves.
Yeah.
How I know we may have dated. You forgot my name.
See, you know that we didn't date because I do know her name, and it's one of the many regrets that I have to drink away. But I don't really do that, people. Actually, do it. I don't give a fuck. Not getting paid enough to say don't do that PSA.
Yeah.
Where was I? Where am I?
I don't.
And you are?
I think we have some booze over there in the corner.
Yes. Let's get it. Just.
I did see some Baileys in the refrigerator. I haven't had Baileys in so long.
There's no reason not to have Baileys. It's
that's
barely,
the best
there's
ad campaign.
barely alcohol content, and it's delightful. And it just gives you like a little, I'm just getting
Never like, I want to coat my throat and get really phlegmy.
Yeah, there's that.
I want Bailey's.
There's
You're a mom.
Oh.
So I've heard.
No, I'm not. Oh, her.
Yeah.
I want to know what you think about these fucking awful kids. You know how I feel. Kids may have destroyed a $1.5 million home with chainsaws and axes because it's, quote, supposed to have a ghost, one of their dads said. The father of one of the youths who trashed a couple's $1.5 million home said they may have done it because they believed the property was haunted.
Well, clearly. There he is right there.
There's the ghost. It was a group of 7 children, some as young as 11, ransacked the 6-bedroom home of Joanna and Matt Pittard on the Isle of Wight in southern London. The owners were on vacation at the time, according to testimony from a resulting court case. The group caused, in U.S. dollars, $371,000 worth of damage. They destroyed paintings, a stained glass window, a chandelier, and a grandfather clock. They also took axes, chainsaws, and sledgehammers to every room and covered the walls and floors in bleach, oil, and ketchup. I forgot they were kids until I read the ketchup part. I really do feel sorry for the owners, said the dad. If I saw them, I would apologize for what my son did. You didn't already apologize?
That's not litigious.
He said they did not deserve this. I just feel shame. There is a book that was written about, I guess, ghosts of the area. The house was included in it. I say sue the author. No, I don't. As an author, please don't sue me.
Not an author.
Whatever. The owners say they're horrified by the evil vandalism and attempts at arson at our property. It will take a long time to recover financially and emotionally from this event. Okay. I, as a child, was really into ghost shit.
Yeah.
Weird New Jersey was a book. We would follow it. We'd go to these haunted places, a haunted house. We never tried to break in, let alone use sledgehammers and How do children get sledgehammers and chainsaws?
Oh, construction sites have horrible security. That's very easy.
And like their parents' garage.
But like, who is to blame here? The kids, the parents, a combination of both?
Blame is a tough word here. I think it's, it just sounds like really entitled children, parent fault.
Sure.
Who didn't have curfews, parent fault. Who had access to things they had no business using, parent fault. You know, I mean, it's just, there's so much. I don't even know, I don't even know what kind of fucking hell I would raise if my children were a part of this. I would just be, if they haven't already apologized to the people whose home they ruined or paid for any piece of that, there's also no responsibility on the parents' part for what happened to the kids I mean, what happened to the
I
whole-
really gave some great advice about the breakup story we were talking about, and I'm going to have some more advice that I'm going to throw at you right now. We have to start hitting our kids again.
Oh.
No.
I mean, cold cock them. All right, give them something to really think about when they look in the mirror the next morning. I think if these kids were hit a little more, they'd not be hitting that house. You see what I'm saying?
See, I think that it's the exact opposite. The more violent you are with your children, the more violently they
That's
out.
probably
out.
true.
Yes.
Also, British kids suck.
Oh, do they? I don't know.
Oh my God!
I only have Americans.
Anyone's ever been to London and sees a 12-year-old with a hood on? Go the other fucking way. Those kids will fuck you up.
What is
British
that?
kids are just. Why are you crying?
No, it's just like very specific.
Oh, the little hoodie
The
kids.
hood on.
It's the 12-year-olds with the little hoodies on. It's a sign. It's a sign that they got a knife. They're gonna fuck
Beanie?
you up.
Okay. Hoodie?
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Youth culture in England is horrible.
Really?
They are violent. Yes.
Is it alcohol access? What is
I'm
it?
Sure that doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
But they let them run riot. They're all feral and they run all fucking over London. And kids scare me over there.
This is a parent issue.
Yeah.
This is a parent problem. But it's a long-term parent problem
Yeah.
that wasn't addressed when
Yeah.
the children were younger and realized there was consequences to their actions, which is a common issue with parenting and children because children actually don't understand consequence until they're in their teens. And even then it's a new idea that they can't really grasp unless they've been introduced to it over the 50 fucking times I've asked my kids to put socks on and their feet were cold when they went outside without them. Like that's a consequence. It's a natural consequence. But do you know what I mean? Like if I keep asking 50 times and don't leave the house without letting them put their socks on, they don't learn anything in their bones. And I think that that's a very common mistake that happens among parents these days is they don't want to be harsh with their children because they're projecting their trauma onto their kids and worried that they're going to have the same separation among generations. It's
Pendulums just swung too far.
and then it goes too far, and now you have these kids. Like I was with a friend the other day whose child, I offered the child an apple, and the child didn't know what I was giving them. And it was
that kid knew who Grimace was.
An 8-year-old. No, the child had never eaten an apple without it being cut up.
Oh, I see. Oh, I thought it was just.
No, I was going to explain. I'm explaining because it's a confusing thing. Like, and I was like, "You've never just had a fucking apple? Go, don't be home anymore. Go to sleepaway camp.
Yeah.
Go do something else. Get away from your parents.
It's
You're
a
their
problem.
job, and they're an A-type person, and they want to fucking win parenting. Get away from them.
Yeah.
You need like strengthen that seed just a little
You're
bit.
a good mom. That's
Yeah.
good stuff
It would
because
be
I don't
over-
hear a lot of that from them helicopter parents much lately.
I really don't agree with, I don't have friends who are helicopter parents because I get so stressed around them.
Yeah.
Like I tend to be around more like European parents, truthfully, but now I don't know what the fuck to do because if they're English and they have hoodies.
They're probably good over here.
Oh, okay.
Just when you go across the pond, they turn into these little fucking. I hate
Yeah.
them. But and also the thing with this story too is like while kids don't understand consequence, they are masters at justification.
Oh.
And so the idea that this house was
Excuses.
haunted, they're doing something good.
what-
They know they're not doing
but
something
what
good,
did-
but they
guys,
can project.
what did the ketchup do? What was the ketchup for?
But also,
the ghost was there.
ghosts are not going to be hurt with a chainsaw or the lack of a closet of which to live in. Like, what the fuck? It's so weird.
The ghost is just what they tell the parents to show them that, hey, no, we actually thought we were here.
Bill, what is the worst thing you did as a kid?
Oh,
did
good
you destroy any property or?
I will tell you the story because it's a good story. It's so long and convoluted that it is not good for airtime. And I'm not just censoring myself. It's very bad. But
Did you get arrested?
I've gotten arrested before, but that wasn't the worst thing that I've done.
Did you get arrested under 18?
I'd just gotten my license and we had took my parents' minivan out, and this is so fucking lame suburban arrest. And we got a bunch of water balloons, and we decided we'd just start throwing them at people.
It feels very fun.
Oh,
It was great, and I was one of the oldest in my class. Didn't look it, and so I was the first to have the license. And we're just using that when you really haven't matured at all. You got the license. We're throwing water balloons at. Well, like later on, I go back to my house and there's a cop outside, and it's almost in a bad movie. He's like, telling me that I'm under arrest after looking at my parents' license plate, and I'm like, what are you talking about? What's happening? And he just holds up one water balloon that had been popped. And
Wait, did you throw it at him?
No, I threw it at some kid who memorized my license plate, and that little shit
Gotta
called
go
the
after
cops.
the dumb kids.
Never aim them at the rats. Oh, that kid. Stitches.
That's the thing I tell my kids all the time. Snitches always get stitches.
That's the best license.
Yeah,
that's
that's our motto, actually.
But I got the whole mugshot, the whole deal.
Oh.
So there's a mugshot of us scared me being like, what
Wait, were
the
your
fuck?
parents home and they were like, yeah, go ahead and arrest him?
I was there by myself, and they were happy about it. And they told I was always wondering why I was the only one in the car that had to do community service. It's because they told the cops to give me that. But they weren't that
parents
mad at
pushed
me.
it?
Yeah, well, they didn't like the fact that I was throwing them at people, but they did think it was a little weird that I got. But I still remember the charges. I was arrested for throwing a projectile on public property with direct intention to hit a pedestrian.
Killing him. I hope he's not reading his phone and he's actually listening. Yeah.
I'm a little thing called thug life.
I never got arrested. Everyone's very amazed by that.
Yeah, are you ashamed for being arrested for the whitest thing ever?
Yeah.
Not happy about it.
Apart from like insider trading, I think that's like the second whitest.
You went to
thing.
federal prison.
I was stealing some khakis, even though they were on sale at the Gap. But that one person,
Yeah, no, I'm
Did
not
you?
proud of it.
What about you?
I have never been arrested.
What was the worst thing you did as a kid?
I once had to have a talking to with a police officer.
I like this.
So we were at one of those like teen clubs. Do you remember those?
No.
It was like it's a Jersey thing. It's like a dance club for like teens. The worst idea in the fucking world. I think it was for people aged like 13 to 17.
That's
and you would go and dance, and there was this. I, of course, was an incredible dancer. And then there was this other girl who she was dancing a little provocatively, and I thought it was just like cheap and like be better, you know? So I might have been like shaming her a little bit, which is not very nice. And she did not appreciate that and started yelling at me and trying to get into a fight with me.
Wow.
And then there was, I don't even know if he was a police officer. It might have just been like a bouncer security guard. But at age 14, I'm like, this is a police officer. And
Right.
he's like, well, you guys are fighting. I'm like, I'm not fighting. It's her. She came after me. And then we just had to separate. But that was it. That's the closest I came to.
That tracks as
I
far
feel
as
like
your rebellion is concerned.
That I had that interaction like once a week.
Yeah.
Like that, the fact that made a blip on your radar is really incredible to me.
A girl in a back brace. How much am I gonna do, really? Not much, okay?
I'd be good at one of those back spinning dances.
Well, spin
Well,
it.
I'm trying. I bet you there's a catalog. See if you can pick out one of the worst things that you did.
I guess what I got in trouble for once was a girl and I got detention. No, a girlfriend of mine was a very bad influence. She was a little older, but she was in 8th grade, okay? So she was like 15 and she was in 8th grade. And whenever we would get together, that was always when I got into the most trouble.
Wait, this is a plot of a Full House episode.
Yeah. Hold on, I'm not even done. And then
You
Uncle
are
Jesse
DJ.
strips down. And then so we were in a classroom and we were like, ooh, let's get these other kids in trouble if we flip all the chairs. So we flipped all the chairs, and I got suspended for a week.
For a week for
turning a chair
Now,
over?
I mean, I guess
feel there's something
they
else
said it more like we vandalized the classroom, but we literally flipped chairs. Like it wasn't like
I'm
we
sorry,
didn't
that's
draw
just
on anything.
attention-worthy. That's
We did-
Yeah.
I think it was also what had happened with this girl is she had gotten so many girls in trouble in the class. I think it was to send a message to the rest of the class.
And you were
Don't
And
follow her.
And I was like, yeah,
Collateral
don't follow
damage.
her. And like it was I was in so much trouble. I was the kid who like
that's overreaction.
I was the kid who like the school would call and my parents were never home. Like I had to sign my test because my parents were never home like I was a latchkey kid to the nth degree. I got in so much trouble for this one infraction. I was terrified. It was the worst week of my fucking
But did
life.
it set you on the right path?
No.
It was so long for my voice to change that I was always able to call in and pretend to be my friends' moms to get them out of stuff or to give permission to do stuff like that.
That is
and I think that
incredible.
was the only purpose I served, really. That's the only reason I had friends, because I had such a high voice.
I'm sure there were other reasons. You were older too.
Yeah, that's true. And the license.
Yeah, the
Hey,
license. I mean,
how else are you going to get
The
do a
willingness to
getaway?
take the rap.
The water balloons.
My friends would use me because friends were not allowed to sleep over at my house because my
Oh.
mother was a school teacher. And so it started young because she's like, I don't want kids I teach
Yeah.
sleeping at our
Interesting.
house. And then she
Yeah.
just like never wanted it. So in high school, my friends' parents didn't know that. So they would, if we were like going to a party and staying at whatever house, whoever was throwing the party, the girls would just say, "Oh, we're sleeping at Joanne's house tonight," even though we weren't there.
Wasn't there a call?
Right?
No, my mother didn't give out her number.
Oh, sure. Yeah, why would you if you're a teacher?
But the parents whose child was staying at their house, like they would want a phone number.
But we also had cell phones then.
Oh,
So they would call the cell.
cell
I
phones.
don't know how we did anything, come to think of it, without the... What did we just... I mean, I guess there was the payphones. Boy, I'm old.
See, I have to say that's a pretty good scam you had there.
Yeah. Yeah,
you
that's
just
not
never
bad.
got caught.
Yeah.
Oh, so you were just good at being bad.
Because like I lived in a different town because I went to a high school for performing arts. So like my two best friends lived like 25 minutes away. So it's not like the parents were gonna drive.
Yeah, they're like, oh,
to my
please go, go, go.
house.
Yeah.
When you guys had that freedom, and in the performing arts school where they all thought that they were at your mom's house and now they could do whatever they want, did they like all start jumping up on cars and dancing and saying, I'm gonna live forever, because you were like so happy because you are free?
Okay, that's Footloose. It was
No,
a
that's
little
Fame.
more. It was Fame.
Oh my God, see, this is how young you
I
are.
love how I just tried to diss you and then you dissed yourself.
No, I'm gonna live forever is from Fame, both the movie and wait for it, the TV show.
Oh yeah.
But you're see, this is again, I've been aged. No cell
actually thought
phones,
it
and
was
I remember
Footloose, too.
Fame.
Yeah.
See, well, yeah, I'm pretty old, a lot older than you. Although your New York roots should know what Fame is.
Yeah. Well, I know what Fame is, but it
There's a
felt
weird
more
nude
Footloose.
scene in the movie, if I recall. Do we have time for one more? Yeah, we do. Let's see.
Do we?
I've got more than. Oh yeah. So, what's it like dating as a single mom?
Oh man.
This one sounded like a lot of work when I read it. I had much more empathy for really all my friends because they're all getting divorced. More than 19 million children in the U.S. lived with a single mother or single father in 2022, according to the Census Bureau. When those parents are looking for romance, they need to balance life with date night. Pinpoint the best time to introduce their sweetheart to their kids and consider what impact the new relationship could have on the child's well-being.
I thought that woman had facial hair, but it's just.
I know.
She's
Yeah,
buffering.
it looked like she had a little goatee going. That would be my
That's
first
why she
advice.
can't get a date.
Yeah, you got to get the electrolysis or something. Newsweek asked two moms, Dana and Kim, plus 3 family therapy specialists for their tips. And this is what they gave. The 34-year-old Dana, who lives in New York with her 8-year-old son, told Newsweek, I'm actively dating. As a single mother, it's changed the way I date. I am more intentional in getting to know a potential partner, as well as searching for any evidence that a date has a criminal past. I guess that makes sense. The 34-year-old shields her son from the early stages. That seems to be universal
Yeah.
of getting to know a man.
Yeah.
The Kim 31 from Arizona has a 10-year-old daughter and says, I have to be intentional about making time to go on dates, but guys don't seem to have a problem with me having a child. Online, I have being a mom in my bio. I don't think most guys care all that much unless they all immediately are presented as a possible father figure.
I would be concerned more if they cared a ton.
Yeah.
Like right out of the gate, they're like, "Tell me everything about your kid. I
What?
love kids." I'd be
Yeah.
like, "Ugh."
Yeah, that makes sense.
I actually was, when I first started dating as a single person post-divorce with children, I kept that out of my bio because I didn't want to invite that kind of attention.
I think that's allowed.
Yeah. I also was like, it's not really relevant to a stranger what's going on in my personal life. So
Sure, absolutely.
yeah, I mean, I think also I've had dinner with 3 different friends over the last 3 months who have all announced that they're getting divorced. It is fucking wild to me.
It's a certain date where
It's like
it
happening
turns,
right
yeah.
now. And
I was at your age when it started happening.
oh,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, well, back in the day, back in your 30s.
Yes. When I was watching Fame and not using my cell.
And it's so funny because I was talking to this woman who's like, I'm gonna date on the apps, and I was like, look, first of all, you just got out of a marriage. You are not ready to date. Whoever you end up with it's like you're just perpetuating whatever cycle you were in with your ex. Like, you have a lot to fix. Just go out and have a bunch of sex. Like, just go
I love you.
just go sleep with people. Let them love you. Let them send you an
Makes
Uber
sense.
to pick you up. Let them wine and dine you and earn you. Like, get yourself back up there. Go get all the surgeries you need to get. Like, do whatever you need to do to get your vibe back. Like,
That's great advice.
I really feel like the idea that you can find another partner, another father for your children within a 5-year span of a divorce is so outlandish and unhealthy. Like, leave the relationship, leave the temperature of the relationship behind you, and bring in a new vibe. Like, and it's fine. I was talking to someone actually recently, and I want to hear what you have to say, who was like, I'm so and so. I'm not. They were like, but I'm not hot, and I was like, yeah, you are. You just got to get it. You just got to get it back.
Yeah.
Like, you just got to feel it.
Yeah.
Because if you don't
resonates.
feel it, that is what people see.
Yeah, it's like
Absolutely.
what I said earlier about with an ex, when you look
Yeah.
back with longing, it's like, was it the person I was at the time? Don't you want to get so far away from the person you were in that marriage?
Like, leagues.
Yeah.
I want leagues between me and her.
So take the time
Yeah.
to actually discover a new version of you.
But don't be lonely.
Yeah.
Like, don't omit the idea that you could meet someone. Let yourself get into your fantasy self and be like, I am going to go to the nicest dinners. I'm not going to meet someone at a punk rock bar this time. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, get yourself back to who, like, you want to be, and then start to temper it down as you start to meet yourself
love that.
again.
That is great advice.
Oh, thank you.
Pretty good at that. Also, I will say that this article doesn't touch on it. I think in your case, being single and eventually even saying that you're a mom and not having any guys maybe have an issue with it, got to remember who you're talking to. Guys.
Yeah.
Got to remember how simple we are. The reason you don't have a problem is because you're hot. And if a girl is hot, she could have 10 kids. A guy is not going to care.
That's not true.
And, no.
I've had so many more men be upset that I didn't want to commit than.
Oh,
than
no,
the
but that is
opposite.
absolutely proving my point.
Oh.
Yeah. That is, the whole thing. But,
Yeah, I guess so.
yeah, we're simple.
Yeah.
Well, give us your plugs, your promotions, everything.
I started a handle. It's End of an Error. It's
You already have a ton of followers,
Yeah,
too. It's
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I really lucked out on that. I'll
That is a
allow it.
fucking great word.
So we're gonna start recording the podcast. I'm in this contest. It's like Fab Over 40, and if I win it in the next few weeks, it'll be like a spread, and I get $40,000. But if you can, every vote goes towards breast cancer awareness. But if you just want to vote for free, you can just do it every day because it would be really helpful. So it's Fab Over 40, Samantha Judge. I'll send you guys a link.
Yeah, because that.